This series is going to teach you how to make the Dino-Run game from Google in Unreal Engine 5. This video is serving as a kickoff point for us to discuss all of the features and considerations that we need to make before we can go and jump in and start to create it. I find that doing this keeps us on task and lets us know when we're done. Otherwise, you can really spiral out of control and just keep creating forever. So let's dive in. The end goal of this project is going to be taking the traditional Google no Wi-Fi Dino-Run game, which is a very simple game, that's why I chose it, and we're going to be creating that in Unreal. This is obviously going to have its own set of challenges, but let's start by talking about features. When I think about the features of this very simple game, three are coming to mind. The first being our player character. Our player is going to exist in the world and needs to do some running, some jumping, and some scoring if we're going to be successful. Now, it's not much of a game if we don't have an enemy, so we're going to have enemies spawning in at variable heights, either trees, birds, or something in the middle, and they're going to be flying towards our player, giving them something to interact with or avoid. And then finally, we're going to have our scoreboard over here that's going to basically just continuously count so that we know how well we're doing. So if those are our main features, what are our considerations? We have a lot of different considerations to make here, but first, a simplification. We're going to be focusing on using Unreal's assets rather than creating our own. I feel like if we use the built-in player character that already has animations built, that's going to take a lot of the headway out of our project, and then it's better to just offload that responsibility so we can focus on learning the engine. Moving into our features specifically, for our camera, we're going to need to figure out how we can create this fixed 2D camera that we can use in our game. For our player, there's a few different things we're going to have to consider here. How do we use this new input mapping? I'll note right now that this project's going to be done in Unreal Engine's 5.1.1 version, and this new input mapping is a big difference between this version and the 5.0 version. How can we use this new input mapping to achieve our goals? Namely, we're going to need a jump action and a duck action. We're going to need something for collision, otherwise the enemies are going to have no purpose and there's no point in even having them. And then we're also going to do some basic animation. Now, our enemy is a little bit more simple. They're pretty much just going to exist in the world, but the only major thing that I want to accomplish is they're going to increase in speed as the game goes on longer. That's the main challenge point of the Google game, is the longer that you're playing, the faster everything gets. And then on our back end, we're going to have something called a game mode that is going to help handle everything that's going on in our game, including our score and the specifics of our game. And in this case, I'm going to be designating our game mode to handle the spawning of our enemies on a constant interval. And that's all for the real considerations and features for this little project. This is just a good habit to form, and we're starting that process early. Now that we have this little vision set, we're going to be able to chase it down. And just as a little housekeeping thing, new videos for this are going to be published every Monday and Friday until we are finished. Please leave me your feedback or comments in the sections on each video if you have any questions. That's all for today. Subscribe so you don't miss the future videos, and I will see you to start creating this project next time.